Thanks for listening to the Adam and Dr. Drew Show on Podcast One. Recorded live at Corolla One Studios with Adam Carolla and board-certified physician and addiction medicine specialist, Dr. Drew Pinsky. You're listening to the Adam and Dr. Drew Show.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. The church has got a mandate. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. I love that about you, right, Drew?
We love that about them.
I was telling my listeners on ACS last week about the USA Today and Russian hacks, and they got into all those Facebook posts and examined them. And it's basically what I've been yelling about nonstop, which is the hacks were all about stirring up racial tensions.
Both ways. It was just stirring it up, but however it could, right?
However it could, and almost little to no Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump stuff. It was all just getting us to fight. And
it was actually organizing rallies and things and counter rallies and crazy.
Yeah, but almost none. It was like 3.6% of it was Hillary or Donald. The rest was just, here's some racially motivated whatever. How about starting a fight?
Sheesh.
And I was like, could we stop talking about this? Could we stop announcing we're racist all the time? Could we just give it a break and see what would happen? Can we? I've known this is destructive. I've always known it's destructive. I try to. Can we stop announcing we're living in a racist land? Stop it. It's not helping. It's just causing fights. It's disruptive. It's exactly what they want. And I was thinking about what they want, and then I was thinking about that Los Angeles Times article you brought in last week about STDs on the rise.
Oh, yeah.
Could this be racist? Oh. And it's like, that sounded like it was planted by the Russians.
It could have been. Who knows?
I don't think they would have gone that far.
Yeah.
The point is congratulations, Los Angeles Times. You are doing the bidding of the people you claim to hate and that are causing so much destruction to this land. Thank you, Don Lemon, for announcing on CNN that we have a racist president, and I have to tell you about that. Thank you for doing the bidding of the Russians. You're doing a wonderful job. Now, here's my thing. Ironically, the next news is about the dangers of Russian hacking. That's the crazy thing. While Don Lemon is telling everybody we have a racist president and we live in a racist land, his next story is about Russian collusion.
But what they'll never do is make the connection between the two phenomena. Never. I promise.
Well, I've made the connection. The connection is the lion's share of these stories were written to inflame racial tensions.
Yep.
And you guys have taken that bait and you're running with it, Los Angeles Times. Again, I believe even the Russian hackers would say that blaming STDs on racism or the rise of STDs on racism is probably gilding the lily a little bit. Like, I like where your head's at, Ivan, but I don't think they're going to buy that. No, this is the Los Angeles Times on their own, which is exactly the same thing that the Russian hackers were trying to incite.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice job. Nice job, LA Times.
So I'm still thinking about that dream I had
from 3 days ago.
But there's another piece I realized. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is
I love the fact that you're thinking about a dream. It ruined my entire week.
No, this is good what I'm about to say, and I'm wondering if I should say it now or if it percolates differently in a couple of days when I'm still thinking about it.
Please.
But it's that I would really miss this, and thank you for letting me do it. How about that?
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Is that uncomfortable? Bruce to keep circling the block.
Is that uncomfortable?
We're going to kind of...
Well, you told me to have the gay piece, the gay resolution.
I feel the same way about you. I enjoy doing it. I'll tell you all I do in life. All I have is feelings. Feelings about people that are always correct. I used to tell you all the time when I would say, we talk about bands, you know. It's like, was that band in a few years ago? Was that band? And you'd bring up the name of the band, and all I would tell you is, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
And my feeling is either good or bad.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember anyone's name. I don't remember what we talked about. All I remember is going, oh, yeah, those guys. Yeah, I like those guys. Or it'd be like, ugh. And I was never wrong with my feeling about what that experience was. So my life is just one big pile of somebody wants to talk, somebody wants to do an interview, so-and-so wants a bubba, so wants you to do this, and everyone wants you to do that. And then I just have this feeling of like, either like, oh boy, or And when I know I have a day of talking to Dr. Drew, I have a good feeling. I have like, oh, okay, I get to talk to this person.
Yeah,
I get to,
me too.
to share some ideas.
But part of what hurts in the dream is we lost that. We lost that. And it made me
I said he's wired like a chick, and I told you guys all the time Drew's wired like a chick, and you always used to laugh. But you're not laughing anymore.
And it made me realize that this is something I value and I appreciate. It's because of you I'm doing it, so I'm going to say thank you. So there you go. And I would miss it were it not here. Although what's weird is in the dream, our relationship was so ruptured also. It wasn't that it was destroyed, it was just ruptured. And that rupture is rough. Those are rough experiences.
Let me modify a popular 80s song by saying, hey now, please make this dream be over. Can I say that? Yes, I modified it a little bit.
I think I'm done. Mm-hmm. Here's what I'm not done with is Birdwell Beach Britches.
We love these guys.
Yeah, I obsess about these guys because I do love their stuff so much. And I kid you not, handcrafted in California since 1961. I've been wearing them since 1973. I've been wearing Birdwell Beach Britches. Legendary quality. Customers come to the Birdwell store in the same pair they were wearing for decades. They are guaranteed for life. You know, for those of you outside of California, this is what people wear in California. You want to know just what people wear in California? This is what they wear.
Well, if you see any of those great surfing movies from like the 70s, 60s, 70s, they're wearing those. And you'll also remember the logo.
You'll remember the logo.
The decal.
And you can get into fancier, longer or shorter or whatever bird shorts, but board shorts. But birdies are they're just classic, and you're not going to go wrong with that. They're built for surfing, but they're perfect for any activity. I wear them all weekend. Birdwell's proprietary 2-ply nylon. They dry like nothing. Real fast. Inspired by the sails of the boats anchored in Newport Beach. 10% off your first Birdwell Beach Britches purchase with that lifetime guarantee and free shipping for purchases over $99. Go to birdwell.com. Use discount code ADS at checkout. Call us. Tell us if you're disappointed. You're not. You're going to be very enthusiastic. Birdwell Beach Britches. Discount code ADS at birdwell.com.
Kyle, 27.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, guys? Hey, hell of a promo, Drew. It's almost like you've been doing this a while.
I really am when we got these guys, I'm like, oh my God, Beach Britches are back. It's the best. So
I've never heard of them, but I'm not a surfer, so all good. But hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. You basically shaped my childhood. I don't know if that's for good or bad, but had a few questions for you, Drew. I had I guess. No other way to put it, like a real hard stool, and then I was just kind of sitting on my couch, thought I let out a fart with maybe just a little bit of sweat, reached down there, looks like a pool of blood, couldn't get that to stop, so I go to basically, yeah, I guess that's, feminism now. But I went to the urgent care, and they diagnosed, they're like, yeah, you've got a hemorrhoid, and they kind of scared me, saying, yeah, you need to go to the ER right now and get this excised. And I'm like, well, what are my, other options? And they're like, well, you could do, first aid for now, but yeah, you need to get this removed. So I wanted to know, what are my best kind of courses of action, or what should I be doing about it?
So here's the deal. I haven't looked at it. The fact that they're telling you to get it.
Do you want a picture?
No.
Well, the fact that you're telling, it might be interesting.
Sure?
But to tell us, Gary does.
Gary wants one.
Okay,
Drew wants
I'll shoot
one.
Gary one.
But
no problem.
To have somebody look at it and say this needs to be excised right away is sort of an extreme position for the team to take
That's
there.
what I thought. Yeah.
And we don't necessarily,
How
a
do
young
you do
person,
that? How do you
they
exercise?
clip them. They put a little band around them or clip them, and it's not that big a deal.
That's what I've been looking
Yeah,
at.
and it's to stop the bleeding. They must be worried you're going to have really significant bleeding. But in general, it's hot baths, stool softeners, lots of stool softeners, and a
I've
little
been
bit of,
eating Metamucil. Yeah.
well, I mean, real stool like milk of magnesia, something Metamucil, but softener, real
I've
softener.
got
There's a difference between
Miralax.
fiber
Miralax.
and softener.
Miralax good.
Okay.
Miralax good.
Okay. Okay. Miralax.
And so,
I got it.
you know, and you young person's usually okay. Now, why are you so constipated?
Because I've been doing opioids.
Okay,
relapsed.
well, there you go. So that's why this all happened.
Yeah.
So what are we doing about the opiate addiction?
Trying to get the hemorrhoids fixed first, and then maybe
Let's put
cutting
it.
everything out that
Let
day.
me just say, hemorrhoids very unlikely. Opioids very likely to kill you.
Yeah, for sure.
Drew, what? Let me ask you this. I don't
Kyle,
know,
go to
put
an
on
NA
hold.
meeting. Just
Go to an
put
NA
your
meeting.
just raise your hand and say I need help. Just do that.
Drew, I don't want to see any pictures, Gary. Drew,
What?
is the difference, diet aside, of the stool and the density of the stool? And some people that are constipated, like I'll talk to people and it's like, oh, I'm constipated or whatever. And there seems to be a strong genetic component.
Sure.
How much of it is completely diet aside a genetic component, you think, if you were to estimate?
It's a hard one to call. Half, maybe? Something like that. You know, most things when it comes to human, it's about,
I don't have all the
just generally speaking. That's just most things. So I'm going to go in that zone with this.
Yeah, and every time I decide to curse the heavens, I must stop and realize I've never had heartburn. I've never been constipated. I don't have all the things that
and
everyone
you know
talks
what's-
about, the acid reflux. And
I
all
got
the
a
stuff
load of that,
everyone says.
but I will tell you that the Vinny, the carnivore diet and stuff I've been doing, people immediately go, "Oh, you're constipated. You must be constipated." I go, "No, never been better. Never been better.
What is that?
It's my genetics. It's there's some reason this diet really suits everything about me." And now my arteries may be getting completely laden with cholesterol. I don't know, but in terms of my GI functioning, in terms of my constitution and how I feel with energy and stuff, this thing has been like amazing.
Yeah, I have found that the protein diet, along with the sort of intermittent fasting thing, adds a lot. Just general. I guess how I would describe it is there wasn't so much of a. Well, also, first off, you're able to. I shouldn't say get a lot more done, but I don't carve out any time for lunch. I just go to work in the morning and
never
it's just
did that.
work. I used to carve out 20 minutes to go over here or go over there or whatever it was. But no, just kind of work straight through the day. Number one. Number two, there's no sort of, you don't realize, Drew, dig. You don't realize that the expenditure in the sort of expectation department, and I don't want to sound like a German commandant here, but here goes. Lunch, for me, lunch was a kind of an emotional thing. I would show up to work, and I would go, "Man, when's lunch?" You know what I mean? Like a sort of a way to a distraction or some little. An apple at the end of the hanging off the end of the stick,
It's a
little
reward.
reward for me, So then you'd start thinking about it, and then you'd start that initial conversations about 11:30. Like, what's everyone feeling? We're thinking Mexican. We're thinking Thai. What are we thinking? And somebody go, I'm thinking about the habit. You want to do a bunch of burgers? And I'm like, oh, okay. Then I'm sort of like going there, like in my mind.
It's something
and
to
I'm
look
thinking
forward
about
to,
stuff.
yeah.
But also a little bit of a distraction
Yeah.
and a weird thing, and also kind of a weird sort of dance to go through that I didn't really need to go through. And I remember I was talking to a guy, and he's a race car driver, and he would come over periodically and show me some stuff on the old Datsun. And I'd say to him, he'd like show up at noon or something or whatever. And I remember him saying, I would say to him like, "Oh, we're going out and eating kebabs. You want anything? He wants to bring you something." Like he'd be working on the cars or whatever. And he'd go, "I don't eat lunch." And I remember thinking, well, isn't that odd? Mm-hmm. His energy seemed real good and seemed to be in real good shape and everything. And I thought, why would she eat at lunch? And then I remember, oh, probably has a big breakfast or something like that. But I thought it was very odd.
No.
And then I realized that it becomes kind of a big chunk in your day. Like you think about it a lot. You sort of look for it. It becomes, there's a sort of emotional component to it that becomes kind of strong.
I think you probably developed that like on the work sites.
Oh,
you
on
know
the
what I mean?
on the
because,
job
because I've never had time for lunch. Never.
On the job site, when you would roll in you'd be working by 7 a.m. and you'd be digging ditches at 7 a.m. and all you would think about is noon and a huge burrito. Like I was like, oh, yeah. I will blow you for a bite of that burrito, man. Like it was nothing but who's going on that lunch run. What time is it? You know, it was all that. And I could remember distinctly like eating a 4-pound burrito, and then it'd be like 12:30, and it'd be like time to get back in the hole, and I'd just be like, oh, I just want to let me lay on the floor, just let me lay down. Like there was a lot to it.
Yeah, no.
Well, what I'm saying is if
lunch is sort of a mistake.
Well, if you can wean yourself off it, you'd be surprised how it just kind of goes away. You don't seem to need it. Yeah. You won't be hungry, and then you don't.
You can snack through the day, a little this and that, protein, cheese, whatever.
Yeah, but you'll find it pretty easy to get past.
Oh yeah,
and you will not have that feeling of eating that 3-pound burrito and then wanting to lay down, like I used to have all the time. Mm-mm. But also, it was always a reward. It was always like when I did morning radio, it was like, oh, it's so early, man. We're going to eat, Brian. We're going out, after we work, like it was this constant carrot stick dangle thing. And maybe it's not a great idea to do that with food. Because
that winds your day down. It should be just in your stride then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a winner, Drew. Let me tell you about Nightstand, by the way. You got an iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch. Ton of cables everywhere. Nightstand. It's the one-plug solution. You can charge 2 to 10 devices at the same time. Charge wirelessly with a built-in cables. So you can go wirelessly with the built-in cables they have, but meanwhile, you just plug it in once. Featured in Better Homes and Gardens, Nightstand is the #1 charging station on Etsy, and it's made right here in America. Not in China. Very important. American-made and putting Americans to work. Plus, all Nightstand products have 2-day shipping. That's right, free 2-day shipping. So you order that thing, and it's at your house in 2 days, and you are organized and on the road to Wintersville. Exclusive sale for our listeners. Only just our listeners. We're not giving it to anyone else's listeners. 15% off any order with promo code ADS. Do that at checkout. Go to Nightstand. That's NYTSTND.com. Simplify your charging and get the 15% off when you check out. Use the promo code ADS. All right, want to talk to Andrew up here?
Yep.
Andrew, 31 Orlando.
Yeah,
Andrew.
And
Man.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Good. How you doing?
Good. I'm going through a bit of just trying to better my life, turn things around. I got sober at the beginning of the year, and so I'm working with a sponsor, going through the steps, and I'm flying home to California on Thursday, and so I made a plan to visit my mom's grave. She died 9 years ago, and I went when we first put it there, and my sponsor says I should try writing her a letter. Just not really sure what to say, what to put in it.
Wait.
Wondering if you could give me...
What'd you say about 9 years ago?
She died 9 years ago.
And you put her there?
Yeah. No, we. I mean, we.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Before Drew gets into his answer, I was kind of planning on going by your mom's grave on Thursday. So. Are you coming before noon or after noon? Because I don't want it to be uncomfortable.
It would be weird.
How about you just come around 4 or 5? I'll be out of there.
I'll work on that.
Please.
The other thing, I feel obliged to say this to you, and because you're someone working on yourself, I'm going to do it, which is I want you to think more deliberately when you speak about this and don't put a question mark after everything. Almost every sentence you uttered has a little at the end, which is a question mark. I want you to feel comfortable and just go, I've got to write this letter. What do you suggest? And just be more, own it more. You're still pushing it away in some way. That's sort of what I feel when you're doing that, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. And it doesn't matter what you say, as long as it's connected to something in your heart and gut.
Your mom died when you were 22. That's young.
So there's got to be a bunch of stuff there.
What did she die of?
She had cancer, and it was colon cancer that she just didn't know about, and it got, it spread, and so she had about 2 years.
Colon cancer and alcoholism?
No, she didn't have alcoholism. I had alcoholism.
Did your dad? Did your dad have
No, he didn't. No, it was mostly just me, and I think it was a lot of the way I coped.
Well, but
I didn't really know my grandparents.
Your mom maybe did. Maybe you didn't know about it because they're more likely to get colon cancer, alcoholics. But anyway, and then she has a son that's an addict, so that gene came from somewheres. But anyway, it doesn't matter what you say.
How about not ending every sentence with a douche? Somebody's alcoholic, so she picked it
Just
up
say it.
Not for nothing, but... So he won't end the sentences with a question mark, and you don't end it with a douche mark.
Now, not only do I have sadness at the rupture of our relationship during the dream, now I have PTSD from the shit you're pulling now. So,
well, don't get all sing-songy and douchey.
All right, I won't. I appreciate that. So it doesn't matter what you say. It matters that it's connected. And I'm going to bet there's a lot of things there, including things about her missing your sobriety.
Well, what about, so Andrew, your mom died young, you were youngish, she wasn't an alcoholic, Dad was an alcoholic. Why the need for the letter?
It's recovery. His sponsor told him to do it.
I got that part, but I just mean, your sponsor, you're coming out to L.A. to visit the grave. Your mom said to write your sponsor said to write the letter to your mom. It feels like there's something cooking here.
What was the sponsor thinking? He's thinking unresolved grief. He's thinking shame and guilt.
I get it, but what do we need to know?
I think I hate to use the word resentment, but I think there's a lot of. I had 2 sisters, one older, one younger, and they were both busy when she was really sick, so a lot of the burden fell on me to take care of my mom. And so I think that, I was always there for her whenever she needed, but then when it came time for me, it was very selfish, and after she died, it was, full-blown selfish, and I don't care about anything. And I've since, tried to dial that back, and I think the thinking is that I've never really discussed that. I've never really put it out there. And there's a lot of guilt on my end for feeling that way. Even though he tells me it's justified. I was 22. I wanted to do my own thing.
Hey, you're pissed. And you should be.
Hey, Drew.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, look, I got 2 pieces for you. A, good. B, be careful about the sort of treadmill of healing.
What?
The treadmill of healing.
He's in his program, dude. He's got to work
hard.
I
get it, but becoming whole is becoming like a big part of your life. I've dealt with that a little bit. In seeing a couple family members and beyond just go like, I've got to heal myself.
Oh, don't put it on anybody else.
No, not put it on anyone else. What I'm saying is you're 31, You're sober. You're intelligent. Your mom and dad weren't 10s, but they're a lot higher than a 5. Deal with your feelings. Stay sober, but also focus on your life and getting on with things and having relationships and having a career. And don't get into a spiral of, well, I feel angry and I have to write a letter. Like it can consume you.
Don't let it consume you. Good advice.
Okay. Drew.
Yeah.
How much in your life do you feel guilty about?
I don't feel guilt almost ever. Do you know why?
I don't feel guilt almost because you're a sociopath.
No, because that's you. Because I'm so shame-based that I never do anything that makes me feel guilty. I'm too ashamed
that's
to
what a
do
sociopath
anything.
would say.
No. Sociopath goes and says I don't care. I care. I feel so low and so ashamed that I check myself all the time. I have felt guilty, and when I do, it's shattering. It's like I overcome by it when I feel guilty because I have so much shame, which is actually a worse emotion, a sicker emotion. But
I've never, almost never.
Well, you've got that scale of justice in your head, and it's been tuned for a long time. I don't think that really tuned up in me till later, till middle ages. And so you can make mistakes, early on.
I was watching about 2 years ago. I was watching football Sunday. Had the guys over. Blah blah blah. It was a weird playoff thing where went to late games or whatever it is. And when it was time to leave, I realized I think I had too much to drink. And I had Sonny with me, and I said, "I'm not driving. I'm just gonna lay down. I can't drive."
There's a thing called Uber.
There's a thing called Uber, but believe me, no apps work for me. So I said, I just said, let me just lay here, and I don't want to drive. And he kind of panicked and called my wife and blah blah blah. I was racked with guilt.
Oh,
I
sure.
just felt horrible.
Oh yeah,
I
sure.
felt horrible.
Yeah.
And no one else held it against me, really. But
well, you made your child feel a certain way. It makes you feel bad. Yeah.
He kind of pussed out a little, but it's still I was racked. That's the only time in recent whatevers where I've really felt.
Yeah, when I get guilty, it remains. Like the stupid things I did 10 years ago, still I feel guilty about it if I think about it today.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I never have that feeling, that construct. I never have guilt. But it's an interesting answer, which is because you don't do anything to feel guilty about.
Because I'm so ashamed all the time. It's a different thing.
No, we were talking in previous shows, what about firing people? It's all people that were asking to be fired should have been fired, would have been fired, under any other circumstances, been fired a year earlier. That's how I feel about it, but not an ounce of guilt.
Does your wife feel guilty? Because my wife talks about guilt all the time, and my immediate response is, then why the fuck did you do that made you feel guilty?
I should ask.
Just don't do that, and you don't have to feel guilty. If guilt is so tough for you, don't do those things that make you feel guilty. To me, it seems so matter of fact. And yet people that can't contain or whatever, can't regulate.
Oh, and that's a little more of an externalizer and a little less of a guilter.
You should feel guilty.
No, never says I should feel guilty either.
All
right.
LifeLock, that's something you're not going to feel guilty about because you will have done something important to protect yourself with the new LifeLock Identity Theft Protection, where they've added Norton Security to help protect against threats to your identity. And look, everyone can be a victim of identity theft. It can happen to any of us. And your devices can easily be hacked. You can't fix it on your own. But if you get a problem, these guys have agents who will work to fix it. They will not stop until it's done. Just takes 1 weak link for criminals to get in, and that's you. You just click on the wrong thing, and there's no way to account for human error. And just like any other technology, there's a little added expense when you have the speed of being able to shop and use your credit cards and whatnot. But our devices are vulnerable to cyber criminals, and there's some signs. If your device restarts on its own, or it's running slower than normal, or programs start running you don't recognize, you might check that out as a sign and get that new LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. Norton Security. Again, Matt.
No one can stop every cyber threat, prevent all identity theft, or monitor transactions at all businesses, but new LifeLock with Norton Security is able to uncover threats you might otherwise miss. Go to LifeLock.com or call 1-800-LifeLock and use promo code ADAM for an additional 10% off your first year. That's promo code ADAM for an additional 10% off.
All right. We got any more calls up there, Gary?
Not at the moment. I'm coming in as we speak.
Well, let's just talk to Drew about his feelings. Who I'm interested now in that I never experienced guilt.
Yeah.
Now, some people would say that's because you're wired like an iguana and you're a sociopath.
No. A sociopath can't feel guilt. You feel guilt when you, like you just described. You feel guilt, and when you do, it's intense.
I do, but I'm wired. Again, it's so convenient.
Yeah.
I get it. But I'm constantly wired to be thinking about other people, not thinking about other people emotionally, but thinking like, what would they, that's not fair. No, you can't have that. No, how would you feel if they did that to you or whatever it is? That I never do anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your scale of justice is so tightly attuned that you have, that guides you all the time. It's like a compass.
Yeah, but it's also then becomes a weird thing when you say to somebody, this is what I feel and this is what I feel is fair, and they explain to you you're way out of line.
Well, that's a different phenomenon, right? Which is your rigidity with your assuredness in that compass. And I guess, like, I'm not. I'm easily flexible, and I can be talked to. You know, I mean, that's the chick part you complain about, and that I like that about myself because it helps me see different perspectives and things like that. But it is a liability, and.
Well, I don't want you to change because my feeling, I tell people all the time, yes, Drew, yes, he's wired like a chick, and that can make it difficult to do a podcast with him. But the sex, amazing. Hey,
you
Chris,
used to complain about that.
37, Sacramento.
Yep. Hey, Adam.
You got a Joe McCarthy question for us?
I got actually two questions. One is regarding the California State Contractors Board test, and the other one's about Joseph McCarthy. Mm-hmm. Which one do you want first?
We'll go McCarthy.
Okay, so I just recently read this book about McCarthy, and basically the book's premises was that everything that he was claiming happened actually did happen, as far as infiltrating with our government with communists. And I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought about that.
Well, it's kind of a funny thing that what we say now, like, Ben Shapiro's going to speak at Berkeley. He shouldn't be able to speak. Oh, this is McCarthyism or whatever. McCarthyism, well, first off, okay, it's this whole thing. Communists were evil. We fought a war. We did fight together, but everyone kind of knew what was going to happen after the war. They were attempting to do things, what's new is old or what's old is new, whatever it is. They're not fans of us. They would like to take us down. There were communists here. There were spies here. There were evildoers here. There were other people that were just like my grandmother was just plain misguided. Like
she was a communist, though, right?
She was kind of mainly, she was
sympathizer.
Okay, here's the thing. Are you a Ravens fan, or do you just hate your dad who's a Steelers fan?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not really a Ravens fan,
Yeah,
just hates her dad who's a Steelers fan,
Yeah.
her dad being Uncle Sam. So she was that way because it was a way to do an FU to her dad.
Yes.
So I get it. It's got to be a rough life when everyone's your dad and everything's your dad and everything's a rebellion against your dad.
Yeah.
But communism, not great, and McCarthy trying to protect this country against taking that turn, and there was a real danger there for a while. So when people, it's the thing I do with, like, when they go like Japanese American internment camps. Oh my God, what were we thinking? Like, oh my God, what were we thinking? Drew, that's not recycling bucket.
I thought of that as I threw it.
What were we thinking?
I'm going to pick it up.
What we're thinking is Pearl Harbor's on fire, and we have no idea what's going on. That's what we're thinking.
Right.
Yeah, but these were Americans. I get it. Not a shining beacon
not our best
on
moment.
that. Not our best moment.
No.
But when you're asking what were we thinking, we just got bombed. Our entire fleet.
No, we thought that we were going to blow up. The whole country's going to blow up. That's what we thought.
We're panicking because we just got bombed.
Yeah.
That's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't say evil. Let me tell you what evil is. Evil is what Hitler was doing in World War II was evil. Let's kill a bunch of Jews while we're trying to take over the world.
Mind you, Jordan Peterson pointed this out. Mind you, if you were in Germany during that whole period, you would not have been Schindler. You would not have been the person going no, because that was only about 3 people out of 30 million
Right.
who said no. The rest of them went along with it.
Of course.
You would have gone along with it.
I
So
absolutely would have.
So
I would have. I was said, hey man, I got this idea called Crystal Knock. Who's with me, fellas? Come on, man. Raise a hand. I mean, do it the way I taught you. Raise that a little. Stu, a little further out. Goon helmet, a little more out front. Not quite so.
Nobody
vertical.
stood up and said no, because that's not what humans do.
Right. So at least Joseph McCarthy had. Look,
It was way too far. Way too far.
All right, but hold on a second. The crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. The crazy thing is the people, the writers who are blacklisted or whatever.
Yeah.
Guess who wants you to not go to work if you voice an opinion they disagree with now? Those same people that are talking about the evils of Joseph McCarthy. That's all I'm saying. It's pretty hypocritical.
We have a new McCarthyism that's
you.
going on right now. It's in the name of other things other than being called a Nazi. Call somebody a Nazi, call them a racist, calling these other things has the same effect as calling them a communist in 1955.
All right. So anyway, yes.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
In that frame of mind, if you're thinking that, okay, so right now we're seeing potential, say, communists or the left, the radical left, we should call them, that will blacklist people now if, Ben Shapiro from speaking in Berkeley. Now, could there possibly be the actual history of that where McCarthy is looked at as a negative thing? Maybe the actual history was that he was the one that was being victimized in that in that scenario.
No.
That's what the book is claiming.
Yeah.
I don't claim to be an expert on McCarthy. I am saying when people say all the time, what were we thinking? And they just do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
I go, look,
Well,
we were
listen,
we were
most
not
of-
as sophisticated as we are now. Somebody bombed Pearl Harbor, and we were freaked the fuck out, so we overreacted in a very negative way.
Most of the time
That's
when
what I'm saying.
we say that, we're talking about when we reacted like a crazy mob. And we are acting like crazy mobs all the time today. So we will look back at this and go,
there's no reason why Ben Shapiro shouldn't be able to go speak somewhere.
that's a crazy
the
mob.
problem.
That's a crazy mob.
Yeah,
You go,
I get
what
it,
were we
but
thinking?
no.
Why couldn't the guy just
No,
talk?
but the other one was the communists and Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
That wasn't just a crazy mob. That was based on something. The reaction was not correct, but the something was there. It's a weird thing with people. Like, you go, so, people go, why'd you just slap me on the back? It's like, you were choking on a piece of beef. Yeah, but why'd you hit me? Because you were gagging.
You were
well,
dying.
it didn't help.
Yeah.
And I go, understood. But are you confused? Why are you angry?
Yeah.
Like, what, okay, I hurt your back, and I'm sorry. But I saw you gagging, and I panicked, and I slapped you on the back. I didn't just see you in a subway and smack you in the back. How are
People
you not
can't
able
put-
to connect those things?
Because we are primitive man right now.
We are?
Yeah.
We are?
Everyone.
All right, let me tell you about True Car. Let's not be primitive man. Let's be True Car connoisseurs, man.
Yeah,
you don't want to
man.
be that primitive man. You want to be an evolved creature, and that's why you go True Car. So, whether you're going new, whether you're going used, you go with True Car, man. And there's pretty much only 2 types of different cars you can get. You can get a new car, or you can get a used car. And guess what?
Very different.
True Car has you covered. Enjoy real pricing on actual inventory and a simpler buying experience, whether you're going new or used. You see what other people paid for the exact same car, apples to apples, and you'll know what a great deal you can get before you lock it in and get your True Car. So you go online, pick your car, lock in your price, get the exact car you want, get your certificate, enjoy a faster car buying experience by connecting with True Car certified dealers nationwide. So ready to buy new or used, check out True Car, enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. All right, second show added Aladdin Theater, and that's in Portland. That is June 9th. Come say hi to me over there. We're taping a live show. And go to adamcarolla.com for the cruise, and go to chassis.com, 2 S's and Y, for all the cool movies. And you should check out King of the Underdogs, because everyone's checking out this whole Karate Kid thing. Part of that is about the director who made Karate Kid and many others. Drew, what do you got?
Go to doctor.com, sign up on the contact list. So it's doctor.com/contact, and send me your email questions there.
And, see the Carolla Show Live VR podcast, by the way. That's me up on stage, and it's a live virtual reality experience at AdamCarolla.com. Vinny Tortorich coming in tomorrow. So, until next time, Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew saying, mahalo.
Now ADT can help protect your family at home and on the go. Get started with ADT's best offer, an ADT starter kit and security camera installed free. A savings of $449. Plus, you'll get ADT Go, the new family mobile safety app and service for 24/7 emergency response. Go to ADT.com/podcast today to take advantage of ADT's best offer with 36-month monitoring contract, Easy Pay and QSP. Early termination and activation fees apply. Additional charge for ADT Go premium services after 3/31/18. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com. Offer ends April 1st.
An Indiana girl critically wounded in school shooting. I'm Jackie Quinn with an AP News Minute. Police say a 7th grader in Noble fire in a classroom, striking a female student and their science teacher who tackled the boy to the ground.
We ask for your prayers for the victims in this case.
Police say that they don't have a motive yet for a driver ramming into 3 women walking on a sidewalk in downtown Portland, Oregon. This witness spoke to K2TV.
It wasn't like they lost control of the car, and it was very much intentional that they hopped the curb and sped down the sidewalk.
The driver sped off but was later caught. President Trump's legal team wants a briefing on the same classified information that key lawmakers saw this week pertaining to the Russia investigation. It's going to be a stormy holiday weekend expected along the Gulf Coast because of subtropical storm Alberto heading that way. Storm watches are already up. I'm Jackie Quinn.